I taught a lady whose son was spinning barb the other day.
It started already. Good morning, good morning. If I'm giggling this much already, it either means I've lost my mind, a possibility, or it means that Helen McCook's in the corner, another possibility and far more likely. So, good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So Half Pint here got the message that you have a new cat and that you are now a cat person. Hence, she has not left you alone all morning.
Full attention.
Is very determinedly staying on the show. If it becomes a problem, we shall remove her, potentially forcibly. All right there? Yes. Good morning. Hello to everybody there. Who have we got? Who are you? Who are you? Who have we got? Who are you? It's one of those mornings I forget myself sometimes. Rebecca, good morning to you, and Leanne and Lillian. Hello, and Anne and Patricia and Linda and Elaine and Kaz, good morning. Ella and Alison and Heather, good morning. And Jenny, hello. Laurie's already here. Morning, Natasha, Helen and HP. Yeah. I have to say Jane Allcock is very upset because Half Pint's normally her cat.
I'm happy to share. It's fine.
Yeah. Bit of a tart, aren't you? Eh? Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Hi Myra. Hello Adele. Good morning. Good morning. And who have we got? Valerie and Natalie and Steph and Jenny. Good morning. And Anne as well. Oh, now, here we go. Now, Anne is from Norway.
Oh, she can help us.
She might have just heard the end of our conversation that got us giggling so much. So I'll explain. Let me explain. Helen today is doing a gorgeous leaping stag. Here. For which I said we should really name him. Let me get you a little close-up of said stag. There we go. This is today's stag. Leaping merrily. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's merrily. He looks quite happy about it. It's fine. So we wanted a name for him, which is where it went wrong. Because it depends if you alliterate the L or the S. I was dead set on the alliteration.
I didn't realise that's where you were going with that.
Yeah, no, I was going for alliteration. So I went with Lionel, Leonard, to which Helen then goes, Alexander. Obviously. And then you wanted something...
Finbar or Finn or, something.
To which I then counteracted with Simon. Simon the Stag. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Simon sounds like an accountant. It doesn't sound like a leaping stag majestically.
You don't know what Simon does on the weekend.
I mean, he may be a fell runner at the weekend. I don't know.
So if you can do better than us, and that's not hard... Although Finbar's quite good. Oh, HP just sneezed on my phone. Hang on. I'm really sorry. Half Pint as a kitten was really ill. She was a rescue and she came... Do we need to mop you? Yeah. She came to me as a rescue. She wasn't actually supposed to last the night. The rescue centre said, take her home and cuddle her. She probably won't last the night. 15 years later...
Ta-da!
Yes. Which is fun, yes. So yeah, but she has residual cat flu, which is also fun. So sometimes she sneezes. So if you see her sort of
snuffling,
get out the way, move fast. Anyway, this morning we have got obviously Helen's gorgeous kits, but also for those of you that are still wondering what to get people for Christmas, or if certain husbands are wondering, or partners, or whoever, children, whatever, are wondering what to gift. Can I say that we do have some lovely exclusive seams gifts in this very... Wait, that's not... No. We're not abluting on top of Simon the Stag. That's not happening. She's
having a Madonna moment.
I know. Just wrong. Let's look at this, which is very right. Shall we? Here we go. Look. Beautiful, beautiful velvet seams. Nice. I love the detail on this. Karen has absolutely done her proud. Look, even on the zip, got little seams there on the zip. I mean, this is branded up. There you go. There it is. It's how shiny it is, you see. and you have options as to what goes in there. And here are your said options. You can have, oh, hang on, I'm going to have to go, hang on, we're going close up again. There we go. You can have a lovely leather. This is beautifully stitched, actually, really nicely made. Leather seams scissor holder. And lo and behold, there are scissors.
Very nice.
Ba-ba! Oh, there you go. Ba-ba would be more helpful. So you can have that and your seams hand cream in your velvety pouch. Here is your hand cream. You know the stuff. It does have nut oil in it. So if you're allergic to nuts, don't get it or give it to somebody else. Just to warn you. But everybody else, go for it. It's amazing. This is the stuff. I don't get a look in anymore. That's why hands are so dreadful. My daughter has stolen several of these.
I mean, you're just laying down some excellent taste for her.
I know. But what she does is every night she puts hand cream on her hands and her feet. I'm like, all right there, spa, what's going on? Like, I don't even have time for this.
I like
and
the
she's
luxury
there, you
of
know,
that.
and then on her feet, and then she gets me to massage her feet. I'm like, what is happening here? That's, well, obviously you'll get a full bottle. Emily's been at that one. Occasionally I get a look in, like the only bits I get are the bits left over that I'm massaging into her feet. Or
it's a toe fluff stuck to it. Yeah.
No, it's fresh out the bath.
Oh, fair enough.
So it's okay. You know, it's quite, I feel it too, that's quite decadent.
Yeah, well, you think?
Yeah. I don't think she's setting herself standards.
So
like,
this is it.
yeah.
She knows what she wants in life.
Man, does she. Good job she hasn't seen these then. Look at this. Gold plated. Ha-ha. Thimble.
Oh.
Isn't that beautiful? With seams written on it. And look, there you go. On there as well. You've got a little thing that says seams on there as well. Don't know if I can get that to see. Anyway, it's rather beautiful. So there's all been made. And any of you that know Karen know that she's uber glam. You see, she's another one that does her hands and feet at night. Well, that's where Emily's learning from uber glam people, because it's clearly not me. And you'd get that in a little velvet pouch, in your big velvet bag, with your hand cream / foot cream, as we've now discovered.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's your other option. These are all on the website. These are exclusive to here. Woohoo! But, I mean, these are just so beautiful. This is solid silver. So the solid silver or the gold plated, they're both the same price, because obviously one's solid and one's plated. I've managed to twist that. Go me. But there we go. And that's got the little seams thing on there, but I've managed to twist it. I heart these a lot.
They're lovely.
They're
Lovely
really
gift
lovely,
as
aren't
well.
they?
Really thoughtful.
Yeah. So, you know, I throw that out there as a high quality gifting experience.
And what are the price of these?
Oh gosh, I don't know about that. I didn't load them. So I just went, they're beautiful.
They are lovely.
Let's have those. This is normally about 14 or 15 pounds on its own. So I'm sure someone will let me know.
Someone will
Text
talk
me.
in your ear in a minute.
Yeah, well, no, I've got it.
Oh, no.
I don't have to talk back here. I just talk. That's it.
Your guests talk back in.
Yeah. The cat talks, but I have enough people talking back in my life. Kids, husband. We don't need extra in my ear. It was bad enough the day that someone gave when I was training for the Olympics, someone gave Stephen a clipboard to help with my swim training. What happens to people when they're given a clipboard?
Or a whistle.
Oh my.
Both bad things. You learn a lot about people with a clipboard and a whistle.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's a good job we weren't married at that point, because otherwise it would have been instant divorce. It's amazing. We got married after that. The clipboard scenario. Yeah. We've also, of course, got a few more bottles of the Seams Sanitizer. Amazing. Smells of the hand cream. Beautiful, with vitamin D oil in there, or e-oil, or whichever one it is
I'll
that's
have a
meant to be
sniff
good
of
for
that
you.
later.
Have a good sniff. It's really good. And then the oil, this is what I hide from the children, because this is really seriously beautiful. So if, like me, you have hands that suffer in winter, having horses and donkeys and stuff in at the moment and having to muck out every day. In fact, I might have a little treat of this. Then the oil is what you want. And put that on first. And also massage it into your nails. Really helps your nails as well.
So you're using the moisturiser as a decoy to keep your daughter away from the oil?
Yep.
I like that. Sneaky beaky.
Yeah. She thinks she's getting the good stuff.
I was going to say.
Yeah. It's all good. I've already put the oil on before I then, I don't think that's wrong. I also hide chocolate. I'm not proud of that, but it's necessary sometimes.
One of my ex-boyfriend's mothers used to told him when he was little that the orange Smarties were poisonous to children.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I see nothing wrong in that.
I thought that was genius.
I love the orange ones are the best.
They taste the best.
They taste different, don't they, to the other Smarties? I don't know why. I don't know if anybody's got anything to say here. Claire says, morning, bit late. I was deciphering a Christmas card from a child. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Yeah, there is one of those things, isn't there? Emily was given a Christmas gift from a child at school yesterday. I don't know which one it is.
Oh.
I don't know. And then you get into this, so do I give a gift back?
Do I reciprocate? Yeah.
But just to that one child? I don't know which one it is. It's awkward.
Well, you give it to Emily, she takes it to school, she gifts it where she thinks, and then when said person falls out with you, because clearly you haven't reciprocated.
But you can't because of social distancing. It has to go in a post box.
Oh, you say, but I gave it to Emily and I thought she'd give it to the right person.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, doing that. Morning, says Margaret. Sorry I'm late, just got mogged.
Oh.
Cat wanted a third breakfast. I'm with the cat. That sounds amazing.
Please tell me it was kippers.
You have a thing for kippers. I've noticed this.
I love kippers.
On the fence about that. I don't think I could do them.
I don't have enough kippers in my life.
Not something I will ever say. Morning, Tash. Have had a gift card from you for Christmas from my daughter. Yay!
That feels like a win.
Oh, it does feel like a win, doesn't it? Oh, Karen says basically we're the first one with all of these seams-based gifting things. That's good,
Excellent.
isn't it? Yay!
Premiere.
Premiere. Exclusive.
Indeed.
Yeah. See it here first. All of that. Morning, Ali. Thank you for our lovely Christmas card as well. Right. Morning, Natasha makes and all, says Maddie. Good morning. I'm going to go over there. You're going to come in here.
Indeed.
I'm going to let you do your thing because otherwise I'll just be nattering. Well, I'm going to natter, but just from over there. Oh, my tea's a bit whammy. I'm going to leave that there. I might drink some. I'll go round and get some. Right. Bear with me, caller. There you go. Yeah, you can giggle about the mess. Yeah.
I've just literally tickled across like a little assault course to get in here.
So the situation with the mess, and people weren't meant to see it, and then our broadband went down and I did a Facebook Live and didn't really understand what I was doing with my camera, spun it round, and Gemma's like, stop it, you're showing everybody the mess! Which I haven't tidied up because...
It's not mess, it's reality. It's the working space.
Right. I am creative. It is my space. But what also happened was I have a sys system for my old printer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to leave the lids off so that it pulls the ink through without air blockage. Yeah, so that went for a Burton when I moved the table. So there's a whole area in the corner that I'm too scared to go near because there's ink.
Yeah, you see, there's files over there that I thought you'd bought them because they were modern artish and Jackson Pollocky and...
Well, and we discussed this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sounds like Pollock, but change...
Let's change one letter.
Yeah. That's me.
See, yeah, but you know that thing, the person who wrote... It wasn't A.E. Milne who wrote Winnie the Pooh. And
yes.
his working space was apparently notoriously untidy. And he said... upon being questioned on this, that he liked it that way because that way he had a surprise every day.
Oh.
See?
Now you see, this is it. So Jane wanted an extension lead this morning for the sewing machine so that she could do some prep while you were
moon on a stick.
I know, right? So I said it was in the corner, and she's like, "Is it like foraging? Like people forage for mushrooms?" And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
What a lovely surprise.
Exactly. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving, that one.
That's me. That's me. Oh, thank you. You see, you make me feel so much better.
See, I do think creative spaces should not be that organised. It's nice to kind of you come across stuff and you're like, I could do something lovely with that.
I could.
It's actually when my thread drawers in my studio it's an old filing cabinet, and
Amazing.
I keep the different shades. So I've got where you're supposed to have like letters or A to Z, I've got little paint chips, so I know that it's green or blue, and so I instead of keeping them in the correct shade order, I keep them as a nest in the blue drawer. So then I pick out shade combinations that I wouldn't do otherwise. So if I know I'm looking for blues or reds, I'll pull those drawers out, put them next to each other, and then I'll see things will pop out and I'll be like, those two are amazing. So it's that with that. There is an order, but it's chaos as well, and I think that gives you a lovely surprise. So
yeah, it's covered in ink. That's what's worrying me about my lovely surprise.
Well, as I say, I thought you'd bought them like that, so I wouldn't worry about it. I actually think they look quite nice.
I think there's a marketing opportunity.
I mean, I trained as a printer, so I mean, most things. I mean, I spent 3 years with blue hands, so don't worry about it.
Great. Do you want to clear it up? You'll be at home. You might have some ideas as to how I can get it out the carpet.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, what are we doing today? Yeah, no, what are we doing? We are doing something.
What were you actually here for? Right, so I'm here for the Leaping Stag. We'll
Simon the Oh, hang on, I've gone on a close-up.
Alexander or Simon or something else at the moment. We can call him anything. I'm just picking HP fur off. Hello.
Well, no, it's all right. Do you want to go? Let's do a little close-up. We saw you just picking the hairs off on a close-up. There. Oh,
no.
Back up. There we are.
Slowly.
Hi, Simon.
Marvellous. So, so we've got this wee chap looking majestic, and if you wanted to make him look festive for Christmas, we can also put a little red French knot on his nose, make him into the Rudolph.
I was thinking maybe a red sequin that could then be snipped off for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. So that's an option. So that's the first kit, and then the second kit is the last one in the Pinktacular range, which is a little biscornu.
Right, can you say that again, please?
Biscornu.
Which it's basically a pincushion.
A pincushion, which goes with the rest of the Pinktacular.
Beautiful.
So the idea is, biscornu apparently is from the French adjective for quirky or skewed, which is basically you create them, they're two squares, and you sit the corner of one square to the centre of another square. I'm going to show you how to do it. And then you stitch them together, and then you automatically get this lovely frilled kind of crown shape.
Do you know, weirdly, this is the second time in a week I've had a conversation about biscornus.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's how life happens.
There you go. Well, as I say, phrase that was coined in the 21st century, so early 21st century, and it's been really popular ever since. So, but you can get ones with lots of different faces on them, but this has got two faces stuck together, so it's a nice simple one, and really quick and easy to do.
Beautiful.
So,
let's have another little close-up on that.
Yes. Going down. So we've got the embroidery. That sounded like something from Are You Being Served?
I love that show. It's still on gold sometimes. Sometimes you get to watch it and you just go, it's like 40 Towers. How was that ever allowed?
Well, quite. Yeah, Mrs. Slocum.
Yes.
So
she was a cat lover.
She was indeed. Yeah. I won't say it. So that's the biscornu kit. So we've got those two kits to offer today. So what I thought we'd do to start with is probably to do some of the stitching on the stag, and then demonstrate some of that, and then once we've done some of that, I'll get that out of the way, and then we can do the biscornu construction. So
nice.
The embroidery on the biscornus, obviously same type, similar repetition as the other kits that we've done for the Pinktacular range, so you can always refer back to those shows, so you can see those on Facebook, etc. And to see if you're not too sure about the stitching, but you get full instructions in the kits anyway. But the construction, I just wanted to show you, it's so straightforward you won't believe it. Goes really quickly.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So what we thought we'd do, that was the royal we. Like, I don't know why I referred myself as we.
When I do.
Yes,
it's
what
fine.
we will do today. multiple personality disorder coming out, is I'm going to start with chain stitch. So we've got a lovely chain stitch down. We've got it in the antlers, we've got it in the part of the neck there. So I'm going to use that deep terracotta colour. And people get a bit confused sometimes when they're doing the chain stitch in the frame. So because they're normally used to scooping, doing a scooping motion with their hand. So you just need to make sure that you do the two parts separately. So you come up and down into as near to the same hole as possible. Just little snuffling HP at my foot.
I've just discovered the other one down here. It's a good job we're not allergic, isn't it? Theo's in a box down here in front of the heater.
Sneaking.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to do your, that gives you a loop. So you come up and down to the same hole. That gives you a loop. You travel forward on the line in that loop, and then you're going to pull the excess to the back and then pull the excess to the front. So I'm going to repeat that. You go down within the top end of the loop. That gives you a loop. You come up a short distance in the loop, pull the excess to the back, pull the excess to the front. Now you can just pull that excess in one swift motion, but that will kind of make it soar across the surface of the fabric. So the condition of the thread, which is quite soft, against this fabric, which is quite hard wearing, it means that your condition of the thread will actually be better if you do it in two motions. It's less friction.
Oh, okay. Now, what is the thread that we're working with today, please, Helen?
The thread is 2-ply twisted crewel wool. So it's Appleton's crewel wool. It's a traditional British company with traditional British wool. Quite a long staple fibre, and it's the same type of wool that was originally used by the William Morrison Company before he actually founded his own dye works. So it's a really lovely company. A lot of history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fabric is a beautiful Scottish linen twill, and again, it's another heritage company, and they work on looms that are around 200 years old. So it's the original type of wool and fabric that you would have had kind of during the 1700s.
Wow.
So it's proper stuff that you're using here.
I love this about you. None of this cheap rubbish, synthetic-y rubbish. No. You come dressed as an elf, bringing us beautiful things.
Yes.
It's delightful. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, if you can get away with being dressed as an elf, then do it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But I think it's that thing that, you know, you're working on beautiful things. This, in relative terms, this won't take long to do. It's a smallish, compact design.
Yeah.
But it's something you'll then enjoy, whether it's something that you want to have as a Christmassy thing that you bring out every Christmas, you'll enjoy it every year. If it's something that you want to keep as a stag and have in your home as part of the furnishings, it's hard wearing, it will last. The colours only fade within their colour family because they're naturally dyed. So they just get slightly softer and slightly more muted as they live in your living room with the sunlight on it, etc. They're beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
They are
and
really
they
beautiful.
only become more lovely.
And I think stags are one of those things that don't go out of fashion. When we moved here, Stephen made one demand.
Yeah.
He said that I could do all of the house stuff.
Yeah.
I could decorate it however I wanted, but he wanted a stag at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh.
Hence the massive 7-foot stag at the bottom of the stairs. It's a massive, great big photo. And it's quite stunning.
Yeah, you see, I'd quite happily decorate everywhere as though you were walking into a gentleman's library.
Yeah, me too.
So I want somewhere between a gentleman's library and Marie Antoinette's boudoir.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's my taste.
Until you get engaged to someone who likes
minimal.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, exactly. but yeah, so you can see it builds in quite nicely, and what you'll do is once you've worked your rows all the way to the bottom, let's say that I've got to the bottom of this shape, I'll then take my needle just down on the outside of the loop to hold it into position, and then what I do is I do a couple of stitches because I want to fill all of this shape with stitches. So if I point with my scissors all the way across to here, so all of this will be filled in. So what I do is, if my thread is in good condition, I want to come back up to the top because all your chain stitch will sit in the same direction then.
Okay.
So then what I will do is, because it has a pointed end and a rounded end, so I'll then come back up to the top and do another row just sitting next to.
Oh, nice.
So you'll get a lovely packed area with chain stitch. Now the thing about chain stitch, you want to regulate your length of stitch,
Right.
and you just want to make sure that your tension, don't pull it so hard that the two sides of the hoop that you've created, the loop that you've created, collapsing on each other. You want to see that space. You want to see that round space there. So if I pull really hard, the two sides will collapse and flatten.
Right. Yeah.
You want to see a little bit of air in the middle. It's what gives the stitch the texture that it does, that it has. So that's the only thing I'd say about it. But as I say, just regulating the length and the tension just is quite useful. And as I say, it's easier to regulate the tension if you're taking your two parts separately, so taking that to the back and then this to the front. Okay, so that's what I would do for that.
There's some French going on the old Facebook chat.
Yes.
Because Claire, her first language is French.
Excellent.
This is twice. Cornu is horned. So two-horned.
Two-horned. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a bicorn hat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's been taken to mean quirky and skewed. Everything that is quirky and skewed
is I think this is
that
brilliant.
Phrase.
And also, biscuit means cooked twice.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Are biscuits cooked twice?
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm the person that ruined Christmas cakes by adding in rancid
I've never
nuts.
cooked a biscuit twice because I'm too impatient.
Well, yeah, it gets eaten, doesn't it?
Maybe there are biscuits you cook twice, though. I don't know.
My husband
Somebody will know out
triple
there.
cooks
Somebody out there
chips.
will know. Triple cooks them.
Yeah. I don't
boils
know.
the
Heston or
potatoes.
someone does it. He puts them in the freezer in between and then cook. I don't know.
Sounds
I don't
very
know.
exciting. I've never been so excited about chips before in my life. I mean,
I get quite excited about chips, but yeah, no, that's that. And Anna said that someone told her that she was like Molly Sugden. She said I wasn't quite sure how to take it. She said I was in my 20s at the time. And Josh has piped up that he loves Faulty Towers. Basil! We've got someone that watches for the Facebook name of Basil, and I can't say it in my head, even though I'm saying it Basil. It's always going to be Basil. And that was the other reason that we have the stag at the bottom of the stairs, because when we moved here, the house, that part of the house was decorated in hadn't been touched since the 1950s, and it basically looked like the lobby of Faulty Towers. Do you remember the moose episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our little discreet nod to that.
I like that.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh dear.
Fun times.
Very good. I like it. Right. What I thought we'd do is we'd do stem stitch. So the edging on the stag is all stem stitch. And the same on the little hillocks here, or hummocks, depending on which you prefer to call them.
Hillocks or what is?
Hummocks.
Hummocks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hummocks.
I've never
I
heard of
don't know why I said it
hummocks.
like that.
Well, no, I'm
It just makes it
enjoying
more
it.
exciting.
Hillocks, hummocks, sounds good.
Yeah. So I'd normally call it a hillock, but I think
Yeah.
a hummock is a smaller hillock.
Well, maybe the one at the back is a hummock.
Yeah, it's maybe
Hummocks
a
and
hummock and a
hillocks.
hillock. Yeah. Anyway, so so the edgings are all stem stitch. So here, 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 and all of the edge of the stag, and parts of his antlers. So, and all I've done there is change colour. So it's darker at the bottom of the stag and mid towards here, and then lighter towards the front. But that's all in the instructions.
Okay.
So
this
all
is
I'm
good.
going to do is I'm going to just come forward. There's a tiny little bit in the underside of his tail, so I want to show you how to change direction as well. So you travel forward a short distance on the line, come up on the line, pull the excess to the back, pull the excess to the front, for the same reason we did it in two motions before. Where you get to a point to change direction, take your needle down into the point and then come up away from that shared point, go down to the shared hole, and you're ready to go in your new direction. I always pull my loop to the outside edge of the dominant curve, so it holds the stem stitch into a lovely curved shape. So outline stitch and stem stitch are actually interchangeable these days, but when I was trained we were told very distinctly which one was which. The stem stitch goes from bottom left to top right and outline the other way. So, but yeah, they're interchangeable now. You look at the dominant curve in the shape and go for that.
When does it change? I mean, is this like languages that change and evolve and,
Yeah,
you know, once upon a time, if you ever said, can I, you'd get from my mother, it's not can. We all know that you can, it's whether you may or not.
Yes.
And now everyone just says, can I?
Yeah, exactly.
And I hear my mum every time.
Yeah, it is like that, and I think it certainly within my working life, that's become less of a thing for stem stitch and outline. But obviously, I was trained in embroidery at the Royal School of Needlework, so they're not going to just let it slide.
No, no, nor should they.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, someone's got to keep some standards here, Helen, haven't they?
Quite. Yeah, they are the keepers at the gate.
Yeah.
So it is that thing. So it was potentially prior to that, generally, because they're the same stitches as I say. It's just that you come up on one side, round a curve for one, and you choose which one to go appropriate to the shape.
Okay.
So whereas now we just say generally, unless I was training a future tutor or apprentice when you'd explain it, you always just say actually you look for the curve, and you always come up on the inside of the stitch on a curve, because that holds the outside of the stitch into the curved shape.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's the easiest way to kind of recall it.
Okay. No, this is good. This is good. More information for you on the biscuit front.
Oh, excellent.
Italian biscotti cooked twice.
I am fond of biscotti.
I do love a good biscotti.
I was not aware that there was a double cooking.
Well, that would probably be why they're so crunchy.
Crunchy, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love a bit of biscotti. I used to work in a restaurant where they always used to put them on the coffee, on the...
Did your tables not get them?
Well, you know, I like to think they were quality controlled before they went on the tables, which is very important.
I like that.
Also important is that Claire doesn't have a first language. I stand corrected. She learnt French and English at the same day from day one. I would have loved to have been bilingual. I am so bad at French. It's embarrassing. And Charlotte says, greetings from the North Pole, Alaska. I mean, hello. Can she name the stag then?
As long as it's not Leonard. Well, it needs to sound suitable. My thing about it is it needs to sound suitably staggish. And it's not, you're not going to bump into one. Hello. You're not going to bump into one. Just determined to take everything with him. You're not going to bump into one in like Reading High Street.
I mean,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unlikely. So I always associate them with kind of that deserved a drum roll. But I always kind of associate them with when I used to go up to the Highlands and see my family. So to me, it's a very Scottish thing. But equally, like Norway, Finland, Iceland, that kind of thing. So
to be fair, Ali lives in the Peak District, and I know for a fact that she's got them on the hills behind her house.
Yeah, but
that makes me sound like a stalker. It's only because my friend. I don't know. Would you like to know a fact about the stags behind Ali's house? My friends used to own the farm. They've literally just moved away this week. They've been there for 30 years. They've just moved. And the deer wrecked their fencing. Always used to wreck their fencing because they'd jump it, they'd miss, they'd pull the fence. Anyway, so they took part in an experiment to see if they would be put off by the smell of lions on their fencing.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. So they got basically a mush of lion poo from the local zoo and sloshed it over their fencing. It did absolutely no good at all. So don't do it.
One of my work friends from a very long time ago, his brother was very scared of zoos, and it was because he'd been on a school trip when he was a child, and an over-amorous lion had got a very bad aim.
Ooh.
And caught his brother.
Wow.
And he could never watch nature programmes or go to zoos again.
Wow, I think that's safe. I mean, that's fair enough.
I mean, that's incredibly unlucky, isn't it?
It is.
Really unlucky.
You see, whereas we have luck when we go to zoos and stuff like that with the kids, because we've seen a snake with hiccups when it was all coiled. That's an amazing thing to see.
Who knew that even happened? Okay.
I know. We didn't know, but I still remember it. Snake with hiccups, coiled, and it does sort of go
This
up
sounds like
and
a
then
children's story. It should be a children's
story. It
story.
should be, but it's not. It's true fact. Also, much to Freddie's absolute delight, was seeing a snake as it pooed. Only happens about once a week. And they don't poo from where you think they're going to poo. I'm just going to leave that there.
Maybe something to talk about off air.
I just assumed it'd be like right at the tip of the tail. It's not. It's a bit further up, a few inches up.
Oh. You thought it was going to be like a propelling pencil?
Yeah. I mean, I've got the photograph. If you
I do need to see a photo of that later.
Yeah.
See, I used to really like it because when we used to go and visit my nan and granddad, they lived in a village past Culloden in the Highlands, near Inverness.
Did they have pooing snakes?
They didn't have pooing snakes, no.
Yeah.
But they had, as a city kid, this was really exciting because they'd got bluebell woods and owls hooting around near them and stuff like this. But my nan's garden was quite often broken into by either deer.
Yeah.
So you'd open the curtains and the deer would be in the garden,
Yeah.
or there was a Highland cow, a
Yeah.
couple of Highland cows in
Yeah.
the next field. So you'd open the curtains and they'd be there
Yes.
eating my granddad's potatoes.
Yeah.
And quite often they were night birds, so we'd wake up, we'd go to sleep as children on, just flake out on the sofa. There was a lot of talking going on, and then we'd wake up and then my nan would go, shall we put the pot on to make some chips? So
Love your
you'd just
nan.
be like,
Did she triple cook them? Because Hester,
No.
says.
believe
that's
me,
good.
no, there was no triple cooking, there was no fanciness. It was, and she'd send my granddad out to go and dig up the potatoes. So the
I mean, that's fresh.
go and dig up the tatties. So, and we'd be sent out to hold the torch. I'll never forget, my granddad said to me once, I must have been about 8 or 9 maybe, and he was like, we were out there like in the pitch black because it was the middle of nowhere, like proper darkness, velvety black skies, and I was holding this torch, following him along, and he went, mind out for the voles. And I was like, I didn't know what a vole was, so I was imagining something really large. I was like, it was like a tiger hunt. I was like, so when I got in the house and I was like, Ron, like, what actually is a vole? So they explained to me, I was like, oh, right, okay. But yeah, watch The City Kid. But this is the same as I didn't think badgers were as big as they are, and I didn't think moles were as small as they are. I thought both moles and badgers were similar to a house cat size.
No.
So I went to work the one day and had driven past, unfortunately, a badger that had been hit by a car.
They do some damage.
And I almost crashed my car looking at this thing because I was like, I've driven driven past something on this road and it looks like a small bear. I was like, I don't even know what it is. And they were like,
you truly are such a child.
Which road was it? And I told them and they were like, that was a badger, Helen. And I was like, so then we had a conversation about the relative sizes of things. And then I was like, well, what about, we talked about moles. And I was like, but moles are, because obviously molehills, you hear about molehills. And I was like, but molehills must be pretty big. So a mole must be quite large. And I've only ever seen footage of them underground. So you've got nothing to compare them to size-wise.
Oh.
They need to put a coin next to these things. You know, when these
it would help.
wildlife photographers
Come on, David. Amber,
a
what were you
tape measure
thinking?
or a coin next to them so I can see the size
What,
of
like
it.
they do so that you can see the print on fabric?
Thank you. Yes.
I mean, I think they've missed a trick here.
Theo, I can't be the only one.
Theo catches moles. Next time he catches one, I'll bring it over.
You just, yeah.
But I have to say they are quite vicious.
Right. Maybe.
And they scrabble.
Just send me a photo
quite
with a
lot.
coin next to him.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Chocolate coin this time of year, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
That's what they'll be.
But I was absolutely astonished. I mean, I was then for at least a couple of weeks, everything that I wasn't too sure about was like, what size is that? What size would that be? So, like doubting everything. So, yeah.
I think that's fair. And then if you went to the Amazon and you saw like the rodents that they have there, they've been like on steroids.
Well,
and that's just wrong.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Have you seen the size of some of those spiders they get in Australia?
Not looking.
I'm not
Absolutely not
great with
looking.
insects, and spiders particularly are not my favourite.
No.
So I saw a photo that was absolutely horrifying the other day, and I was just like, oh no.
Did they put
That can't be right.
Did they put a coin next to that?
No, but it was near to a lampshade, so I could tell the approximate size.
I mean, it might have been a really tiny lampshade.
No, it wasn't.
It could have been like a doll's house one.
The rest of that, I wish it was.
It might have been in a doll's house.
I wish it was.
Let's go with that.
Let's imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, Barbie's going to be freaking out right now, but, you know, it's all good.
Never mind Barbie, it's every man for himself. Yeah. That's a festive spirit for you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's just Santa's elf, ball humbug.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, French knots. We're going to put French knots into the... Don't laugh.
Poor old Barbie.
French knots. So we're going to put a double-sized French knot into each hoof. So you get a lovely little bobble. So if I just... can you see the little bobble there? So we've got that. And so all we do for that is, as always with French knots, if you want... You're chuckling away to yourself.
Elizabeth says, does Helen realise her stag is life-size?
It's just far, far away, Elizabeth.
It's on that distant hillock.
These are in Norway. That one's in Scotland.
We've just got good eyes. Oh my God, binoculars must really confuse you.
So that Father Ted episode with the sheep. Sheep or cows? Anyway, but yeah, that one's near to us. That one's far, far away. Anyway, yeah. So French knots. If you want them
French
smaller,
knots.
you add more threads. You wrap around the needle only once. Don't chuckle, it's true.
Elizabeth says it's on a molehill. Oh, she's on form today.
Oh dear. So you wrap round once, hold that twist onto the needle so you don't have to worry about it. Put the needle down into virtually the same hole but not the same hole. Pull the twist to the face of the fabric and pull your needle through. Okay, and then the size of the knot will really depend on how much you pull it. So that's quite loose and that's a bit tighter. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that.
Nice. Oh, he's got fancy feet.
He has. He's got little dainty hooves.
Dainty toes.
Yeah.
Dainty toes. Oh, now Margaret had a cat on the farm that used to catch moles for her kittens to practice hunting.
Ooh.
But old Sorry knew to wait until her kittens were bigger than a mole. I mean,
Useful.
useful. Yeah. You wait till your cat starts bringing in moles. Oh, you
Yeah.
laugh now.
Yeah. So as I say, my cat, I walked into the living room this morning and he'd got his mouth around a fairy light on the tree. So
Did he do that thing where he stopped and looked at you like nothing to see here?
What he did was he walked in and he was underneath the tree and I walked in just kind of minding my own business, saw the tree rustling at the bottom, which I've been trying to avoid him being under there, so I keep removing him diligently, and he'd snuck in there and he was like this with the fairy light. He was like that. And I was like, no, like this, and he was like that. And you could see him thinking about it, so I was just like, oh man,
welcome. I mean, the fairy lights are just the start.
Well, they're obviously a step too far. They're too tempting.
I generally find Theo just in the tree, just in it, just looking out.
I've not been allowing him in the tree. I've been removing him every time he goes near the tree. So it's been like this fantastic game for him. But equally, it's now like, oh no, now you're chewing electrical things. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
So yeah. But as I say, as a newbie to cats, having cats, so we had dogs. You know, we had Cavalier King Charles Spaniels when we were growing up. So it was always really easy to train them. And yeah, cats are different. I'm really learning that.
Yeah. Yeah. They are a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
They do also love a kettle of fish, just, you know.
Well, the funny thing is we actually have some goldfish, not goldfish, we have tiny little fish in the kitchen. And he hasn't been bothered about that at all.
Really?
He's been obsessed by the washing machine.
Yeah, clearly.
But nothing else. Yeah, the fish is not bothered about at all.
Just if he likes stuff like that, be careful of your tumble dryer. because we once had a cat climb in the tumble dryer and my mum set it off.
No.
Yeah, he was fine. He only went round a couple of times, and then he came back out again quite quickly because mum realised it was thumping a bit too much.
Too much, yeah.
Oops. Poor old Sushard. He wasn't.
Sushard.
He was a chocolate point Burmese. He was Shenakat Sushard was his full name.
Of course.
He was nuts. His mother had eaten poinsettia when she was pregnant, and it just, I don't know.
It affected.
Yeah, his teeth dropped out, all sorts. He was a very strange cat. Yeah, yeah. He
What, from when he was a kitten?
Yeah.
He had no teeth.
Yeah, pretty much.
He gummed everything.
But he used to fetch you silver balls. If you had if you had a Kit Kat or something and you scrunched up your silver ball or tin foil or anything like that and threw it for him, he'd go and retrieve it and bring it back to you. Yeah, something to try.
We had a dog that used to steal red things. Just
red things?
Just red things. Used to nest with red things.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
my dog eats my underwear. I mean...
Any other animal confessions out there? I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Now, you see, you'll be able to start doing this thing where people write little notes about the confessions of the animal that they've done, and they put like a slightly sorry-looking animal next to the confession.
I love that.
I love those. Margot's will be, I ate my mum's best bras. Multiple.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah, Magic's will be, I chewed the fairy lights and set fire to the house. Yeah. It was just an inferno behind him and a little... And a fire truck.
You'd be fine. Yeah, I mean, get to know people.
Yeah. So, the centre of this circle in the middle is also French knots, but we're doing it singularly. So, and we can start and finish in that area.
So do you just fill it?
Yes, you can completely fill that space. So they go in.
Natalie says thank you for making her laugh.
Aww.
We're making the nightmare of packing enjoyable. She's moving.
No.
Yeah. From Wales to, I don't know why I said like that, to...
from Wales?
Is that
what you were doing?
I can't do accents, so I don't know why I even try. To Lincolnshire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Morning, Rachel.
Beautiful places both. So
yeah.
Obviously, nice geography for both.
Oh, good.
My sister-in-law's Welsh.
Oh, really?
Yes. From Llandilo.
And you say I wouldn't know how to spell that. That's the trouble, I can't...
Double L.
But there's double L's all over the place.
Very nice ice cream shop.
Oh, well, that's important.
And a nice embroiderer's guild group there too.
Very important.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, there you go. Joe's Newfoundland used to eat her knickers as well. I think that's fair.
There you go.
Yeah. It's always the Danes. Eric had a thing for our underwear as well. And I don't know why. And I used to run a laser fat removal company, and I had the salon at home.
Yeah.
And he used to get our dirty washing out of the wash bag, and he used to run up and down in front of the window whilst people were having their treatments. I'm like, I'm really sorry, brilliant. That is a 12-stone Great Dane with my pants.
It was obviously just a distraction thing for them. It was just an entertainment. I
think the entertainment was me trying to catch him to get our pants
you
back.
Just like that, like really.
It's a look. Margot just likes to snuggle with anything that smells of me. No one else.
Aww.
She will go through all the washing on the side and pull out just my stuff. She loves me. And when there wasn't any underwear yesterday, she went through and pulled out my scarf, and I found her just snuggled into my scarf.
That's so cute.
Rachel says, good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Sorry I've not been here since last week. Puppies and older dogs rather dominating my life at the moment.
What kind of dogs?
Now, hang on. I always get this wrong. I want to say Australian Terriers, because I always think they're sheepdog, but they're not. I think they're terriers.
Oh.
But she's back to the vets today with the puppies. So all chores had to be done earlier today.
Very nice.
And she sent puppy pictures. Hang on, where did you send them to me, Rachel? I haven't got them.
We need more puppy pictures in our lives.
We do need puppy pictures. Oh, Joe would like to clarify that hers were in fact clean pants. Well, no such joy for Eric. Ali's Barney also used to root through the wash basket to find her knickers.
We had...
And always chewed the crutch. I mean, that's a thing. There you go. He had a sense of humour.
He was a gusset boy. Yeah. So, we had a dog who was very into... our family's always been involved in athletics. Every year there's a big race at Sutton Park called the National 12 Stage. And
Didn't your mum and dad meet running?
My mum and dad met through athletics. So my mum and dad were both the eldest of 6, and my dad ran. But my mum had got 3 siblings who were really fine athletes, and so when my dad moved to Birmingham, he moved here partially because of the athletics club. It was work had given him a choice from 3 different places in England, and none of which he'd been to. So he chose Birmingham because of the athletics club.
Oh right,
and
having never been here before.
Yeah, well,
Would
he'd belonged to Inverness Harriers, and then Birchfield Harriers is in Birmingham, and so he'd heard of it, and it got Harriers in it, and funnily enough, also has a stag as its emblem, and
amazing.
Yeah, and it's so they met because his first night at a club night in Birchfield, he was chattering away. He was a very jovial, chatty guy, and one of my mum's brothers heard him and went, "Our dad's a jock, you should come for tea." And that's how my mum and dad met.
You see, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank goodness for Harriers, that's what I say.
But we used to go to this this race every year, and our one dog used to, because each of the teams have a tent that they get changed in, or like just change their footwear or whatever. After their laps, and they'd obviously be really sweaty and smelling disgusting, and as you'd imagine from having run a long way.
Yeah.
And this dog, every now and again, you'd not be paying enough attention, and you suddenly realise there was like a whoop. He'd be licking an athlete's foot. So you'd just be like, "I'm so sorry, he's disgusting, just ignore him." You'd just be like, "Come on," like trying to shuffle the dog along. So, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Odd habits.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. So.
I had a cat that used to wake me up licking my eyelashes.
Oh.
Yeah, that freaked me out the first time that happened. What are you doing?
Oh
no, it didn't come through, Rachel. Can you post them to me again, please? I need to see these puppies.
We do.
Naomi had a cat called Horace, who used to sit on top of the fridge freezer and wouldn't come down. She had a little later, without thinking, I opened the fridge door and he fell off. We shouldn't laugh. They're meant to always fall on their paws, though, aren't they?
If you put a piece of buttered toast on the back of a cat, which way will it land?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, and as much as I'd like to find out, I don't think
I'm not going to experiment, just to be clear.
No.
Just in case anyone had found themselves with butter on the back of a cat. Or...
Well, it's not just that, is it? I mean, how would you sellotape it on?
I mean, then maybe you'd be wearing a pair of your pants at the time, you just Velcro it to the back of it. I don't know.
These are the other things, you see. It sounds like a great idea, doesn't it?
But and then you get that, right? I've seen recently you can buy cat bonnets. And I'm like, if you can get a bonnet on a cat, you can get toast on a cat, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, have you actually tried putting the bonnet on a cat?
I have no intention of putting a bonnet on my cat, right? But I'm just saying...
I mean, you could embroider it, just saying.
I'm just saying, like, he doesn't need to
bonnet.
look like he belongs on Little House on the Prairie, because I'm pretty sure he's more of a top hat kind of guy, right? I haven't seen a top hat for a cat, just a Little House on the Prairie kind of bonnet, literally a bonnet. So I'm like, there must be a market for this because they sell them and they're easy to get hold of. But yeah, I've never thought about putting a garment on a cat. So, but
I
yeah,
mean,
toast.
These are
if
options.
You can get a bonnet on, you can get toast on. I'm just saying.
We were talking about what to do next year.
Like cat pants and cat top hats. It's
cat bonnets. Yeah. You brought the pants into the...
I feel like a dog should have a cape, though.
Yeah.
Like a dog cape.
I had to... you tape it on with more butter, says Elizabeth. I mean, this is good to know, the details.
Maybe put the marmalade out. Because guaranteed, if I leave something out that I don't want the cat to get into, he will go near it. So if I walk out the room and leave the marmalade, he's bound to rub himself in marmalade, and then the toast will stick to the cat.
Yeah. So
it'll be fine. It's a plan.
It's all right. We've got a hotline to the RSPCA cats. It's fine. It's fine. I'd just like to specify we are not going to do any of these to our cats.
It's always theoretical. It's always
just in your head.
Yeah.
As are so many things.
Yeah, welcome to my head. This is, so what I'm doing for the little ear is I'm going to put a little bit of split stitch around, because if I just bring the, if I bring my wee chap up here, can you see there's a lovely pink ear on the middle? So, so the light colour that you have, you're going to split stitch around the shape with that, and then use that same thread, assuming it's in good condition, to satin stitch over the top.
Right, what would denote it not being in good condition?
If the thread's not in good condition, it will look thicker in parts and thinner in others.
Right.
Or just really fluffy.
Okay.
This thread isn't particularly fluffy looking when you take it out of the skein. So if, as you pull it through the fabric, which is quite hard wearing, it can get a little bit stressed. Okay. So you use a nice short length of it, so generally a fingertip to elbow length, or if you have very long arms like me, fingertip to wrist.
Okay.
And it will help to maintain the thread condition. The only time we don't do that, which you'll see in a little while when I do the trellis, is when you've got a very long stitch repetitively on the front and the back, because you'll get through a lot of thread without having a lot of friction on that thread.
Yes.
So as per the area that you're covering. So basically you look at the condition, or what the area that you're covering, and look at the length of the thread, and you think, okay, well I can actually have a longer thread for that than I would have done if I was doing a different type of stitch to fill. So what I've done is I've put my split stitch all the way around the outside of the ear, and now I'm going to come up in the middle of it at 45 degrees, just on the outside of the split stitch at the top, and go down just on the outside of the split stitch at the bottom.
Can we turn that ever so slightly?
Which way? This way?
Just, yeah, just so, yeah, that's good.
Better.
Thanks.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up, we're going to fill to one edge, putting the stitches next to each other, so you build them up to fill the area, but they shouldn't bulk up over each other, on top of each other, and they shouldn't have any gaps. And then you work to one edge, maintaining your 45-degree angle, and then once you've done that to one edge, you'll fill to the other edge from the centre.
Perfect.
And generally the reason why we start in the middle of the shape is because it tends to be when we get to the end of something that we really stand back and look at it.
Yeah.
And think, oh, well, how does that look? And if you're losing your angle continually as you're working something, then there's less to undo and redo than if you've gone from the centre out than if you've gone all the way through the shape.
Okay.
Plus, it's easier to set up the angle because the centre tends to be one of the widest parts for most designs.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So you can see the thing that you're stitching better. So you set it up in full knowledge of what it's going to look like.
Elizabeth has suggested that we make a cape for one of the Danes. I mean, to be fair, she could just wear my cape because, you know, she's huge. I wouldn't need to make too many adjustments.
I like that.
All these options are there.
Because the way that they move, they would really lend themselves to a cape. You know, when they kind of gallop across.
Gallop. She's fast, actually, Margot.
Actually, she's got a turn of speed, hasn't she?
Yeah, she really has. Especially if she sees a dog in the distance, she will fly. And then about 20 yards short, she'll stop, hunker down, and just crouch and look. Because she doesn't know if it's okay to go and say hello. So she stops just short and waits for the dog to come up for her. Myra said that she'd love to be a fly on the wall at a dinner party with all you Natasha makes ladies. Not much eating and plenty of laughter going on as you all scream. Oh, no, we'd eat as well. I'd just like to say that would happen. That would happen.
I think once we've done with all this COVID nonsense, then we'd actually have a thing where we all go out.
Go out?
I know, controversial.
Well, I know.
You'll have to find an unchewed bra and pants for that, but yeah.
It's tricky, it's tricky. I'm down to my sports
bras. The struggle is real.
I'd just like to say the only reason that people know about my bras, etc., is because this morning I was still in my leisure wear, shall we say, when you rocked up. And I said to Gemma, I'm just going up to put some clothes on, and she went, yeah, bras are important. I'm like, no, I've already got the bra on. Come on, it's not pushing stuff everywhere. Liesl says she's laughing too much to do her cycling this morning. I mean, I think we've done you a service.
Good.
On the subject of animals and food,
Yeah.
if you have ever read the first Paddington book, the scene with him in the railway cafe with a cream bun and a cup of tea is one of the funniest things ever, in my opinion. I have it on audiobook read by Stephen Fry, so double the fun. I need that in my life.
That sounds amazing.
I need that in my life. I do love Paddington Bear.
Yeah.
I've told you the story about Freddie all through my pregnancy with Emily. He wanted Emily to be called Knuckles.
No, you didn't tell me
So
this.
Knuckles McCarty, because the baddie in Paddington is Knuckles McGinty, and it obviously sounded a bit similar. It took us ages to figure it out. And then Stephen was catering a charity golf tournament down in London and met the writer of Paddington and was like, you do realise that...
Something Bond?
No, of the movie.
Oh, no, the movie.
Not Michael
Right,
Bond.
okay.
No, of the movie.
Yeah.
And was like, you do realise you are the reason that my unborn child is called Knuckles.
That's hilarious.
And I mean, even down to the little book cover that someone beautifully made for her red book that all kids get given when they're born, has beautifully put on there, appliqued on Knuckles.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Donna says her husband used to put a piece of buttered toast on top of their Ridgebacks' noses, butter side down. On command, they would eat it, then spend ages frantically licking their noses. After a while, the cat demanded to have toast on his nose too. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? So the Ridgebacks are bred to help with lion hunting.
Okay.
So when I met Stephen and he had 2 Ridgebacks,
yeah,
and one was petrified of cats. I mean, petrified. If she saw one, she would scream like she was being stabbed to death with spoons. It was just awful. To the extent she saw the pub cat and screamed so you just hear the clatter of the cutlery as everyone dropped their cutlery and looked to see, you know, who was killing the dog. And she'd just seen the cat in another room. So when Stephen and I moved in together, we had to get counselling for the dog, for Baxter.
It's like rescue remedy as well.
Yeah, so that she could live with Hugo and HP. Yeah. So I'm impressed that you managed to get butter on their noses, but she would do anything for peanut butter toast. That was her thing. Maybe it's a Ridgeback thing.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Aww.
Nikki says that she's loving this morning. She hasn't laughed so much in ages. She hasn't had a Christmas tree for 12 years, as Jasmine the cat hasn't seen one, bought one, put it up yesterday. She sniffed a couple of baubles and walked away. Guess she's not impressed by her choice of decorating skills.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah. Everyone was saying to me, like, this year, are you having a tree?
Did you wonder why people kept asking you?
Well, it was one of those things that, like, obviously we didn't plan to have the cat. So basically, Magic
But you planned to have a tree.
A rescue cat. Yep, always plan. You know, I'm big into Christmas. So it's like, so, you know, love Christmas, looking forward to putting up the Christmas tree, like, as soon as it kind of got, you know, as close as possible.
To do so,
as close as possible to December. So kind of like really hold myself back to do it. And then we got this cat. And basically it was one of those things where the my soon-to-be sister-in-law and her daughter came home and found this cat crying under the car. Like tin ribs, looked awful, just, you know, not being looked after. Asked around, nobody knew who the cat belonged to. Took the cat to the vet. It turned out that there was no microchip or anything like that. So, and the vet had said that black cats apparently don't get adopted very often from rescue centres because people are superstitious about them. Like, and I was like, well, surely they're lucky as well. I know they've kind of like the witch thing and everything, but like they're lucky as well. And she was like, apparently it's the same thing for white rabbits. It's the same. People are really superstitious about it.
That's really
so
strange.
He'll be sitting there in the rescue centre for ages apparently, and nobody will want him. And I was like, oh. And then my partner, he'd had cats when he was little. We'd never had cats, so he'd had cats when he was little, and he was like, "Oh, he's a lovely looking cat. He's very handsome, like looking cat." And I was like, "All right, okay." So, yeah, he was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So we ended up with the cat, and it was really funny because I hadn't got anything for this cat, so I went shopping, got food and stuff, but I hadn't thought to get a cat carrier. Turned up with a box and taped the box closed with a cat in it. Air holes, obviously. I knew that much. And
well done.
And literally, I hadn't even got to the end of her road before this cat was exploding out of the box. And I'd been like, when I went to put the cat in the box, I'd never picked up a cat before. So I was like, I'd stroked other people's cats, but never picked up a cat. And I was like, it seemed like a rude thing to do, pick somebody else's cat up. So I was like, oh, right, how do I pick it up? Do I pick it up like a dog? And she was looking at me like I was crazy. She was like, just pick it up, it's fine. So yeah, I was like, well, I don't want to damage it. Like, so basically, yeah, it exploded out of the box.
It's a bit like letting the cat out the bag, right?
It really, and it was, and it was everywhere. It was like a bar of soap, and I'm trying to drive around, trying to drive home with this cat, and at one point he was trying to climb into the footwell.
Amazing.
I'm
yeah.
like, no. Wherever else you go, and that can't happen. So yeah, so eventually curled up on my lap and fell asleep for a little while, and then woke up again. So managed to get him home. It was fine. But so we've been adjusting. But then everyone else was like, so everyone else has been like, are you gonna have a tree? Like, and I was tempted to do what my mom did when she first had my sister, because I've got an older sister and I've got a twin brother. So when we were little, my mom apparently had a hook from the ceiling and she decorated the tree and then suspended it from the Christmas tree. So if anyone went near it, it would just...
That's a really good idea.
...stabilise again. So yeah, so I was tempted to do that if it got really bad, because I've got lovely glass baubles and stuff on my Christmas tree and things. So I was like, yeah, so haven't had to yet, but if he's going to keep trying to chew fairy lights, I think I'm going to have to suspend the Christmas tree.
You'll find a way. So, you'll find a way.
Yeah, barbed wire, maybe a big fence. I don't know, something, some way of cordoning it off. But yeah, I'm amazed at how they can get into really small spaces.
Yes.
Like, I didn't realise they could literally, like...
Oh, yes.
He looks reasonably solid, and then he can squeeze under the armchair, like into a space that looks about that. And I'm just like,
yep.
How much of that is fluff?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot.
So yeah, it's astonishing. Anyway, trellis. So
oh yeah, back to this.
Back to the stitching. So in the hillocks, hummocks, whatever you want to call them, molehills, whatever you want to call them. Let's not make a mountain out of it. We're going to put some trellis now. Two of them, the two outer ones are diagonal, and the inner one, the middle one, is vertical and horizontal. Okay, so we decorate each of them differently, and that's all described in the instructions. But what we're going to do is we're going to use a fingertip to arm, like to shoulder length piece of thread, because we have a really
hang on, fingertip to shoulder.
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah. So it's a really long piece of thread, because we're going to have long stitches on the front and on the back.
Right.
So we're going to put the verticals in first. Make sure you're not going to poke your neighbour.
Socially distancing. Like, it's all fine.
Throwing the thread out. But yeah, so put your first stitch in the centre, and then you'll come back to the first side that you came upon, and you're going to decide how close you want these stitches to be. So I want them to be about 4 or 5 millimetres. So I'm going to use my needle to help me work out what gap I'm going to get. So once I'm happy with the size of thread, as I say, you can see you're going to have a long stitch on the front and on the back. So it's why we've got such a long thread, because you'll get through the thread really quickly. And
all of the thread and everything is in your kit?
Yes, indeed, everything's in there.
In enough amounts?
Yeah, and then once you're happy with the position of this, you use the thread to get a parallel line, go through the thread, because if you go to the left or right, you're going to end up moving, so you're not going to end up with that parallel that we've just taken time to find. So yeah, do that again, use your needle. Excuse me.
Now you see, I'm learning today, because Margaret says there are 2 types of bra, which I didn't know. I know.
Is there the chewed and unchewed?
Well, I mean, in my house, yeah, that's the only two that we have. But she says there's the Harvest Festival and Rawhide. So either all is safely gathered in or head them up and move them out.
I like that.
I had not heard that. I will try and remember that.
It's also the one that I used to really like was when they used to describe it at school, which was the over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Oh, the boulder holder, absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
it's all good.
I like that.
It's all good. Now, you see, Jo got her black rescue cat, Ginny, for the same reason. Everyone wants the nice coloured ones and the plain black ones get overlooked. Ah.
Well,
not in this household,
very
half
cute.
pint.
So I'm very happy with my black cat. So apart from the fairy light chewing, obviously. But,
wow.
But hey, it is what it is.
Worst will happen, don't worry.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, as the hillock in front comes in front, we're going to just make our stitches shorter, obviously. So, but we're just taking our time just to make sure that we've got a lovely, even gap in between and a parallel. Once you've done all of them in one direction, you'll come back to the middle, you'll do the next half, and then once you've done that, you'll then do the same thing for the middle. So let's pretend I've done all my verticals. We'll then do our horizontals.
Do you have to peg them in place somehow?
We will do, yeah. So because they're such long stitches, we'll put a little holding stitch on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some horizontals in, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But you can see we want the width, the distance between stitches horizontally to be approximately the same as the ones vertically.
Oh, I know what I forgot to tell everyone. We have got an offer on with our little pressing mats. You know, the ones that the ones they use on Savile Row.
Oh yeah.
They're ever so good. And the felt they're made from is the same felt that the underside of the Queen's regimental garments are made from. You know,
it's like a Hainsworth wool or something.
So yeah, so it's all the with all the, I'm not explaining this very well, I don't know where my words are. All the military costumes, outfits, if you look underneath their collars, they've all got this woolen felt. Yeah. And that's what our pressing mats are made out of. Ooh, and it's what they use on Savile Row. And they last so long, they get handed down from master to apprentice. House of Alistair sourced it for us and made it, but you can only get the colour here. But if you spend £50 today, then you can add it into your basket for just, I think it's like £5, just over £5. Ooh. I think it takes like 60% off or something for the but nice. They're really handy to have. The little ones, really handy. Yeah. And
because nobody really likes an ironing board.
No, but also I just have mine on the wooden countertop. It doesn't get hot handy. Underneath.
Nice.
And also it gives you the crispest of seams. It's amazing.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like a quality product.
Well, you know, it's one of those things that's just going to last.
It's also, there's a lot of stuff that you can buy and it's like buy cheap, buy twice. You know what I mean? And
that's what my husband says.
It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Not in the end.
Spending more in the end and getting frustrated. So...
But I know lots of people have got the bigger ones, but if you want the little ones, they can go, you know, they can just go with you whenever.
How little are we talking?
Just by you, actually, if you want to pick up that one just on to your...
This one?
Yeah, that's the little one. It's quite a little handy size.
Very nice.
Ta-da!
Anyone just coming in will think this is like a censorship thing.
We're back to the bras again.
That's lovely. It's wool cloth.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also you can put it over pressing hams and all sorts of stuff, and it's very, very handy.
Very nice.
Very handy to have indeed.
Indeed. Right. You were asking about whether the trellis needs holding down.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are. So because these are long stitches and they're really easy to catch because they are long, they're unstable. So what we do is just in the matching thread, we're going to put a little pip of a stitch coming up just on one side of the turnover, the crossover, and just on the other side. So I'm just going to put a little diagonal stitch in this case.
Oh, nice.
From one corner to the next. It's not obtrusive, it's just a nice little stitch, and it's just going to hold it down. And it just stops the squares moving out of place. Now just be careful when you put them in that you don't end up nudging the bar. You know,
oh, yeah.
You've
no,
taken a lovely time to place
wrong.
them, and obviously they're going to be lovely. But having said that, if you think, oh, this bar's very slightly off here, I could just you can use the stitch to help manoeuvre it a little bit. So I'm sure that you won't need to do that at all, but if you do need to, that's an option. So you'd hold all of those down, and then we're going to decorate those that central one with little lazy daisies.
Nice,
so,
nice.
Detached chain stitch to give it its technical name.
Oh, I like a technical name.
I know, everyone knows it as a lazy daisy, don't they? But,
yeah. Anna says she's going to have to watch on catch up. The shopping had to be dealt with. She says, I love the chat. It's the kind of company I'm really missing in these times.
Well, we're glad
she doesn't want to miss any.
Us.
I love a bit of
Glad you're with us. You've got to have a nice chin wag. Bit of a blether.
Oh, a blether. Oh, that's a good Scottish word, a blether.
Yeah.
Ali says she loves her pressing mat. She tends to use the small one the most as it's handy to put in front of the machine. Which is a brilliant piece of kit.
Very good.
Joe says, can you use the steam iron on your pressing mat without the steam coming through underneath like it does on the thick wool ones, please? I use the steam. I don't know whether it doesn't come through or not. I don't know. I'll have to try that. I'll get back to you.
You strip the varnish off your work surfaces so that nobody else needs to.
Well, you know, who needs varnish, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So we're going to decorate this. It's like a little checkerboard built up of lazy daisies. So I'm going to do 4 lazy daisies in 4 blocks.
Oh,
4
okay.
little squares, but facing diagonally in different directions. So, so out from the central point, so the shared central point. So in the same way that we do with chain stitch, come up and down to the same hole. That makes a loop. Come up in that loop, pull the excess to the back, pull the excess to the front, and then just go down on the outside of that loop to hold it into position, because we only want to have the one.
Aha.
And then I'm going to face the next direction.
Well, this is all good.
Yeah.
Comes together quite nicely, doesn't it, actually?
It does, doesn't it? The nice thing about this, it's quite a compact design, so you can kind of bob about a bit as well. Yeah, it's not like you have to do a massive section and you're going to get bored.
No, and it's like a sampler in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Jacobin is like the ultimate stitch sampler, so.
And was there something that you looked at and went, yep, that's gonna inspire me to create Simon the Stag?
Simon? The majestic Alexander. So, no, basically it was just, they're quite often based on the Tree of Lies, and the Jacobin designs originally were inspired by the Indian chintzes and palanpurs. So they quite often have the wonderful trees and hills, rolling hills from the Indian landscape, and they'll have the animals that are native to India, beautiful colours. But as those textiles came over with the boats, the East India Trading Company, they hadn't actually gone for those fabrics. That the fabric was an aside, so they went for spices and for pepper.
Right.
And so basically they happened to they ended up going to the coast that's further away from us, and they were seeing authentic textiles, authentic items in India made for Indians rather than export items, which is what we'd always seen before. And then they had bought fabrics and traded fabrics so that they could pack the gaps and keep the spices dry in the boats.
Oh wow!
And so basically they didn't think that there'd be a lot of value or interest in those fabrics.
Yeah.
So when they'd sold off the spices and they'd sold off everything else, they bought the silverware and things like this. They put the fabrics to sell, and it was like the shock of the new. It was a massive trend was set, and this was the thing. So, and then because of that,
I bet they smelt amazing as well.
Exactly, yeah. So basically, I mean, they had to create a new dock pretty rapidly in London for the fabric that was then under demand.
Wow.
So coming from India, and that's where we start to see all the muslin fabrics and the diaper fabrics and the chintzes, the palampours. But because they were so unusual and so rare, they were very expensive. So embroidery is quite often made to imitate something else. It's very expensive or hard to get hold of or very rare. So that's where a lot of the stitches and styles come about. So that's where Jacobean comes from. So we think of it as this quintessentially British thing because we think of it, we associate it with old country houses and estates and things.
But actually, hangings.
No, and it was, we put it onto the linens and the heavy fabrics that we got and the wool fabrics, some of it early. And we had a lot of that and we had a lot of wool. So that was why that combination worked for us, because we could readily get it for use, domestic use.
Wow.
So, and then...
God, I bet you're good on a pub quiz.
Depends on the subject. Embroidery questions don't come up very often.
They should. Forget sport.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's where Jacobean came from, and then we started to add. So we started to. It was almost like Chinese whispers. So you'd be designing something based on a description of a description of a description that somebody had seen a chintz and palampour. You know, so they became quite abstract, some of them. And also design sheets were being created based on those designs, that you could purchase the design sheets, and it could be a sheet of motifs. And you knew that there was a tree of life, so it was the tree and the hillocks at the bottom. So, and then you'd put animals and things around it, but there was no colourway, there was no sense of scale, which is why Jacobean traditionally...
I mean, that's obviously where you come from.
Yeah, quite. So
it's a mole the size of a bear.
It's an elephant, yeah. But that's one of the interesting things, because we'd never seen those animals, and the biggest domestic animal we've got was a horse, a cow.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have thought about something the size of an elephant in the general populace. So and there was no sense of colour, so we chose our own colourways and went for it. And there was no stitch description because we were creating this, so it became the ultimate stitch sampler. So, and as I say, we started to add domesticated animals, so like domestic animals to Britain. So you'd start to see those plants as well that we recognise. So, the acorns. And as I say, it had that Eden-like quality. So they also used to throw in mythological beasts then as well. Because, you've never seen an elephant, so how is a dragon any more unusual? So,
I mean, right.
These are traditional motifs they'd got forms for. So they could then use that quite easily, adapt it onto the embroideries that they'd got, cockatrice, griffin, you name it. You'd see them all on there.
Freddie would love a bit of that. I mean, if you could throw in a dinosaur as well, he would be really
why not?
excited.
Yeah. But it's a really interesting design because of that. It's a design style because of that. And once you know those things about it, traditional Jacobean makes a lot of sense. So you're looking for ranges of textures throughout a piece, so the textures of stitch. So you want to see smooth areas against really textural areas, crunchy areas, and then really lightly worked areas against really heavily worked areas, and then you want to see a balance of your colours, light to dark. So, and then, as I say, the sense of scale on bigger pieces for Jacobean don't need to be in proportion to each other. They just need to look balanced as a whole.
Yeah.
So you don't need to look at that and go, well, that leaf is bigger than that stag or whatever. Elephant, we can go elephant.
Yeah.
And also the thing that people quite often used to struggle with was, it's quite okay for a colour not to be appropriate to the original animal in Jacobean. So you can have green squirrels and you can have,
Why not? You can have red squirrels, why can't you have green squirrels?
Yeah, so I mean a lot of these animals, it became pattern based and colour based only, so it was just you'd choose your colourway and you'd stick to that and make it balance. So across the piece.
This is perfect.
Yeah, so it was a really lovely thing because of that. So, but yeah, I mean, I haven't been particularly inspired by any one thing I've seen. It's just the actual concept of the design more than anything else, the design history more than anything else.
So I bought my mum some crewel work.
Yeah.
Let's just say a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought she'd just forgotten about it or didn't like it or something, but she heard that you were on. She said, "Oh, can't wait to get my crewel work and get that out started." It's like, Mum, I didn't know you even still had it. I just assumed it got lost in a move. She'd be like, "Oh, no, I promised myself I would finish off the blanket that I'm knitting for Freddie." I'm like, "Mum, you've had that for over 5 years." She said, "Well, I'm knitting it slowly. I lost it for 2. But she won't let herself do the crewel work until she's finished this Shaun the Sheep blanket. And it's gone from, I'm like, "Mum, I'm not being funny, but I have actually made an entire person since you've been making that blanket."
No, I
know. So. And she's like, "Well, yes." And then we decided that maybe it would just end up being for like Emily's daughter or something.
Oh, as long as it's made for some little person at some point.
Fine. It'll be
fine.
Yep.
This is like my mom generally refuses to knit for anybody that's an adult. She just doesn't enjoy it. She enjoys the knitting, just not when it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So she knows that about herself. And but she'd rather unexpectedly and very nicely of her, she has said that she was going to make me a jumper. So she's been making this jumper, I think, at least a year. She keeps saying, "We're having a cold snap, so I think that this jumper might be ready for you or something." She keeps measuring bits against me, and I think she'd forgotten how long my arms are at one point, because she was like, because I do feel the cold, so she was like, "So the sleeve comes to here at the moment." I'm like, "Yeah, it needs to be longer, ideally."
Yeah,
like there would be good. And she was and she keeps trying it, and she's like, "Would that? No. Would that? No. It needs to be longer. It needs to be longer." And now the first one's done, she now needs to work on the second arm, obviously, because it's
and match it.
Exactly.
I mean, ideally.
So at some point, I'll be getting a very nice jumper, but who knows when. So this is why she only, as I say, normally commits to baby clothes.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
But it's it's also birthday week in our family, which is why we're so festive. So I have to say happy birthday to a number of people. So my niece is today. She's 9.
9, yeah. So that's a good age, 9.
Oh, Kim is so excited about everything, and it's lovely, and it's life is exciting.
She's 9.
And at 9, and it's brilliant because I love being an auntie, and it's fab. So happy birthday to her. And my mom is on Thursday, so she's having a birthday Thursday, so happy birthday to her. And then my twin brother and I on the 21st, so obviously not happy birthday to me, but
I'll give you a happy birthday from us to you.
Thank you. But it's a slide into Christmas, so I always find Christmas, like December's exciting, so I love December. So it's that slide into Christmas through a lot of birthdays, and then you're at Christmas, and then you're Hogmanay, and it's good. It's
perfect.
Life is good.
Do you know what's even better?
Go on.
I've just discovered that there is such a thing as a green squirrel.
There's a green squirrel?
Yeah, well, according to Elizabeth, if Elizabeth is to be believed, she said it's a cross between a sloth and a squirrel, and it's called a slorrel, and it's the size of a sewing machine, just to give you like a... I don't know if it's true or if she's just having us on.
This sounds...
I have absolutely no idea. If anybody else could confirm.
This sounds unlikely, but I do like it.
Yeah. So we'd like to believe you, Elizabeth. If anybody else could concur or ask...
I think there may have been whiskey in the marmalade.
I don't know. I'm happy either way.
But I think equally, Elizabeth knows that being a townie, I have no point of reference for this.
And I've taken the sewing machine out, so you're absolutely screwed, aren't you?
Yeah.
How big are you expecting your cat to get, just out of interest?
What?
How big are you expecting your cat to get, just out of interest?
Well, I don't know, because worryingly, Rich keeps saying to me, he's going to be a big cat. And I'm like, he already looks like a big cat. Like,
he's a kitten.
Like, I don't know. Like, he's apparently about 4 or 5 months old, and I'm like, will he keep growing for much longer? Is he? I mean, because I bought him a cat carrying box the other day, and I was like, that looks big to me. Like, will he have a lot of room? Is it designed to have a lot of space in here? Could he invite a friend? When we pass the social distancing stage, like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, this seems implausibly big, but maybe it's to double up for a badger. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't put a badger and a cat in a carry case at the same time.
Sounds like a brilliant joke. There was a badger and a cat walk into a bar.
Yeah, it's never going to end well. Oh, happy birthday, Naomi, as well. It's her birthday on Saturday. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent, excellent.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, badgers and cats. I don't think they mix.
Right, I thought we'd do herringbone, and then I thought we'd potentially move on to showing the construction of biscornu. So, the herringbone, we've got down the back leg here, and also in the back of the neck. And it's like a cross stitch, but instead of crossing in the middle, like this, it crosses to one end, and then to the other end. Okay, so the crossing point changes.
Okay.
So, I'm going to put my first stitch in. And then instead of doing it so that it crosses in the middle like that, I'm going to come nearer towards the end that I've just gone down in and cross out to the other side. And now I'm going to do the same thing, so I'm going to come up near to the end that I came down in and cross to the other side. And you can see what I like to do is I like to hold that thread in position so I can kind of fiddle around with it and be happy with where I'm placing it. So it's use the tool in your hands.
This is looking good.
Builds up quite quickly, it's really nice.
Oh, no, you see, SJ says that if you want this pressing mat offer, you have to add it into your basket. She's just clarified that. This is all good.
Excellent.
Well, this is all very good. I'm loving this. Oh, I'm glad I've got I'm glad we've got January in the diary. This is a very good thing.
Yeah, so needlepoint January
has a, you know, certain
je ne sais quoi, as they say.
I mean, there's none of that alliteration. Even Freddie knows what alliteration is. I mean, that astounded me the other day. I was like, oh, good boy. Good. Yeah. Do we have any requests from anyone as to what they would like? I mean, I don't mean like for Christmas or anything like that. In terms of what you would like to have made next year by Helen.
Indeed, yeah.
Because we've got our ideas.
Techniques as well.
Oh, yeah.
What stitch techniques? Because there's so many, as you know. I feel like we should do a bit of beading at some point.
Would be rude not to.
Would be, yeah.
We haven't done all that much gold work though either.
No, we haven't. Get some lovely shiny metal threads on the go. Beadwork, I think beads and sequins and some sparkles in that sense, that would be nice.
Ooh.
Maybe some applique with surface stitching.
Oh, nice. Transferable skills, yeah. All about that.
So that would be a good one. I've got a very nice 1920s lady applique. She's based on the cover of the Delineator from 1928, I think it is. She's a little speedy roadster.
Nice.
With a little cloche hat.
Oh.
Very pouty pair of lips, I have to say. She looks
really?
like a racy lady. Yeah. Yeah, lots of stuff. Lots of
We'd have to call her Penelope, you know that, don't you?
Yes. Oh, pit stop.
Yes!
We used to call my nan Mutley.
Did you have that laugh?
Really rude. It wasn't. She laughed with us because she used to, when she had a proper nan laugh going on, she used to sound like Mutley, like
proper.
like
I love that
going.
sort of thing though.
And yeah, so if we used to say she'd got a proper nan laugh on, or an attack of the Mutleys, and yeah, so Yeah, but there's loads of options. So yeah, any techniques you want to see, want to learn, give us a shout. Or as I say, any if you want to actually make things into objects, then that could be done as well. So just give us some ideas. Right, so I'm gonna get rid of Alexander, Simon, whoever. Simon is not a majestic name. It's a lovely name, but it's not.
I don't know that many Simons, if I'm honest.
I only know 2 Simons.
I know a very lovely Simon that my brother was friends with at university, and he was very Scottish.
Was he?
Yeah. Well, Mongal was a good Scottish name.
Well, I'll let that slide then. I'll let it hang in the balance as a bracket. It doesn't possibility.
It just sounds better than like Stephen the Stag.
Stephen, yeah, no. Yeah. We'll think about this. I'm sure that there's people out there who've got a good idea for the name of the stag. But it's something majestic and noble.
Yes, and
noble
I would
sounding.
like some alliteration. That's all I'm opting for there.
Yes. Right, so what we're going to do is I want to show you the construction for this wee chap. So basically the embroidery is the same style and type as the rest of the Pinktacular range.
So we've covered those and you can watch those back.
So we've got the needle case, we've got the embroidery shears, the scissors keep, and
the earmuffs.
The earmuffs. We've got the tape measure cozy, and we've got this now, which is the last part of it. So I'll tell you what we could do next year, a hussif.
Big button?
A hussif. For us hussies out there. It's
what is a hussif?
It's a shortened term of housewife, and it's basically we could make ourselves a Stepford wife.
I'd love a wife. I could really use a wife right now.
So, but yeah, it's basically, it was like a domestic stitching set, and it all rolls up. It has a little round pin cushion on it, and it all rolls up and is self-contained.
I love that idea. I had something similar for all my lace making bobbins as a child.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah. So, but it's for your sewing tools of whatever type.
Oh, lovely. And could it be modular? I mean, would we make a bit at a time?
Probably something you'd make all in a oneer.
Okay.
We'll think about modular. I think it's probably a hussif sort. A one-trick pony, as I say. It's a beautiful one-trick pony, but
I'm intrigued. So yeah,
possibly a one set.
I'm up for wives, however they come. Yeah.
So yeah, it's the type of thing the sailors used to take to sea and stuff like that. So we could maybe do a nice nautical themed hussif. So that would be nice. What are you laughing at now?
Gemma, she's gone. Wife. She's the closest thing I come to a wife that I have to a wife, because she organises my world. She is my work wife, and actually I'm very lucky because Lindsay, who looks after Emily, is my other wife. So actually
you've got a work harem. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You like the sultan of the sultan of
stitching world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never how I had imagined myself. But
don't knock it.
No.
Do I get my
great? I was going to say, do I get my grapes peeled for me? But that sounds wrong, doesn't it? I imagine that's what happens for
pre-chewed. I don't know. The cat will pre-chew them for you. It's
my daughter generally. Disgusting. Spits it out. Yeah. Oh, nice. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's less glamorous. That's more my life.
Foot rubbing and you're basically like the equivalent of a punkah walla. If you could just attach the string and make the fan operate with your toe whilst you're massaging feet and know my place. My place. Yeah, but I don't know how we got onto that, but here we are. Welcome to my head.
I don't feel that we've diverted that much today. We've done worse.
We've kept on track a fair bit.
Yeah,
it's been obvious segues. It's not always an obvious segue.
No, there's been quite a lot of cat-based chat.
Yes. Right, so what we're going to do then is you're going to do your embroidery as per the directions in the booklet, step by step. I'll show you that in a second. And but I've already demonstrated pretty much those techniques. And And so I thought it would be a nice idea to show you the construction of this. So in your kit, you have a piece of fabric which has your 2 squares marked out with your designs in the middle. I haven't bothered putting those on here. And you have little dashes to show you where to cut. So first of all, once you've done all your embroidery, you backstitch. You're going to use 2 strands and you're going to backstitch the line, the inner line, so you get a red square. So we're going to, you could do that in the frame, or if you have a preference to do that out of the hand, you can do that. So you're going to just...
Do you want to show us any of that? Because
Yes.
at the moment I can see your lovely elbow patch.
I mean, why not? Where are we?
We're there.
There you go.
There you go.
So I'm just going to finish this one off. They don't need to be too teeny tiny. Stitches of about, I don't know, 3 mil, something like that.
So is this is just going to hold everything in place, is it, these edges?
Yeah, this makes it really straightforward actually. So we use these to help us fasten the 2 sides together.
Nice.
So it's good, there's no guesswork at all, which I like because there's no room for error.
I always find a way. You see people say there's no room. There's always room at the inn for my mistakes. That's what I find.
All welcome here.
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
that's,
Generally, I find live on air, if at all possible.
But you know what? That's actually, you're taking one for the team there, because it's better for people to see it and to know how to reverse out of it than to do that at home and then think, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. So just taking one for the team.
Yeah, no, it's like charity work, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Learning
That's-
from each other's mistakes.
Or just mine, continually. Work's a treat.
There's a certain reassurance in that, I think, though.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think so.
I always think it's really interesting because sometimes when we teach embroidery, people talk as though I wasn't born like I was spawned like this, like I haven't worked at it, like knowing the art of embroidery. And it's and I'm like, no, I guarantee you, I learned a lot through my mistakes and through other people's mistakes as well. So there are a lot of mistakes done.
You were not a child prodigy then?
I was most certainly not.
You don't want those
Those
ones,
are
you
paper.
want the ones behind. Oh, the pink ones. They're good.
Pink ones.
They're really good.
Marvellous. I did
Yeah.
bring some. I'll probably tidy them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip through on the little dotted line, approximately. Don't worry if you go slightly in or slightly out. It's just so that we don't end up with nothing.
Yeah, that would be annoying, wouldn't it?
It would be a bit of a faff.
Well, especially if you've already done all the embroidering.
Yeah. Oh.
I hadn't twigged. Elizabeth just said that she's just seen the H on your belt. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I just thought it was just the design. I didn't realise. Of course it's an H for Helen on your belt.
Ha. Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Or is that ho ho ho? Because it's the
ho, ho.
Christmas belt.
I did think that this morning. I wanted to put a couple of.
O's.
Oh,
I've got
Yeah.
marker pen. I mean, I could do that for you.
thanks.
I've even got a gold marker pen. If we're getting festive
That's the
about
way
it.
forward.
I don't think you're going to get a better offer.
I think I should maybe embroider a sleeve for it in gold embroidery.
Yes. I mean,
So-
okay, that you've just had a better offer. There you go. I shall remove my
Removing
gold
said offer from the table.
sparkly pen from the table,
Yeah.
for which I think we're all grateful. Are we just chopping off edges
Well,
here?
I'm just chopping off a corner, basically
it.
the corners. So it's just so they're less bulky.
Yeah.
We don't need them, so I'm just
Get rid of them.
chopping half of them off. So you can see I'm not cutting near the actual embroidery.
No.
Just snipping. Going to clear all this tat away. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, oh, you've got a lovely little pin thing here. I love it when things are organised.
Oh, say that again.
I love it when things are organised.
Hear that, Gemma? She thinks I'm organised. Winning.
Your tabletop is certainly organised.
Thanks. See, that's all that matters, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, all we need to do is to find, I've just folded over the one side so that my embroidery corners are at the same point.
Shall we do a close-up?
Yes, yes.
It's about where your H is. There you go.
Da, 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 da. So I folded my two corners over so that they're at the same point, and then found the centre of one side. So I've just put a pin in. You can see there.
From my organised desktop, right?
Indeed,
Yeah,
organised, organised. And then what we're going to do is going to grab some of my red thread, because I've used red for the outline. It tells you in the kit to do that. And thread up. Do you know what I ate this week, which was absolutely atrocious? And I don't know why I've just thought of that. Spam. I've never had spam before in my life.
Why would you do that? When it's not the war.
My partner came home and was very excited about the spam. He'd been shopping, and he came.
What did he think? It was like a Monty Python sketch.
He came home and
what's going on?
said, "You can have a brilliant breakfast tomorrow." And I was like,
Kippers.
"Really?" And he was like, "Oh, what are we having?" Really excited. He went, "Spam," and I was like,
Are you joking?
I joke. At which point he looked really deflated. And I was like, do you mean that? Are we having spam? And then I was like, I've never had spam in my life. So I was like, how do we even eat that?
Yeah. How does that come out of the tin?
Are we eating it cooked, or are we, what are you doing with it? Like, and so he
was
was
like a sandwich spread? I mean, how do we do this? Do we just feed it to the cat?
I was like, do we eat it with something? I genuinely had no point of reference at all.
No,
and
I mean,
was like,
what size is it?
And I was just like, it was like, you know, when you're at school and the project is, describe this in so much detail that it's like, imagine you're talking to an alien.
Yes.
And that they have no point of reference whatsoever.
Yep.
And that was what I was like suddenly about the spam conversation. I was just like,
I do not compute
do we
your
eat it
spam.
hot? Do we slice it? Do we have it with something
I don't know.
something?
I don't know if I've ever eaten spam either.
Don't bother.
Oh, really?
It was the point to which it's, well, a wartime ham, basically. It's a mixture of pork and ham, which I find confusing because pork is ham.
Yeah. Already we're confused.
I was just like, okay. And it said on the label that it was at least 90% meat. And I was like, what is the other 10%? That's a lot. What's the other 10%? And he was like, I don't know and I don't want to think about it.
Well, you brought it to the table, love.
I'm now thinking about it. So that was that. And then he made a slice, he sliced it and cooked it, and we had a sandwich brown sauce, and I was like, all I can taste is brown sauce, but I didn't want to say anything, so I was like, because he'd obviously got these lovely memories of it, and I was just like,
wow.
And I was like, so, because I didn't want to sound ungrateful, I was like, so, is it, you know when you have memories sometimes and then you try it and you think, oh yeah, I don't know why I haven't had this all those years, it's great.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you have this thing and you revisit something from years ago and you think,
I love how diplomatic you tried to be about this.
My memory was a lot better than the reality here. I was like, where are you right now? And he was like, I'm never eating this again.
Hooray! We can get married after all.
And I was like, thank God. I was like, he went, don't you like it? And I was like, no, all I can taste is brown sauce.
I mean, I like
for
brown
which
sauce.
I was grateful, but a brown sauce sandwich is not what I signed up for.
No.
So I was like, I literally can't taste it. Like it's just nothing. It's like having sawdust but with different texture. It's like nothing. It tastes like nothing. And even the cat wouldn't eat it.
Oh, I mean, there it is. That's the leveler. Cat wouldn't eat it. Absolutely wrong.
That's crazy. So we now know not to buy that again. I don't even know what made me think of that, but anyway, I had to share that with you.
No, well, please do. Get that one off your chest.
Apparently my mum was saying, well, she was like, we used to eat spam fritters when we were younger, but it was because it was still rationing at that point, food rationing after the war. But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
not through choice.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold these edges under at the embroidery line. Okay, so you've got little folded bits. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. just finger press them. You don't need to do anything fancy. Just fold it over. Just get a little crease at that stitched line.
There might be a way to make spam good. I don't know. Elizabeth says John loves spam, but I don't know. You'd have to add in a lot. I think it's a nostalgia
thing. I think it's also like, is it one of those things like Marmite?
I love
you love
Marmite.
it or hate it, and I think it's if you've been raised with it, you're going to like it, and you have happy memories about it, and if not, it's a no. You know.
Where are you on the Marmite?
I was never raised with Marmite.
Were you not?
I'm not keen on Marmite at all. I mean, I don't think it's one. I'm not one of those. It's like Satan's spawn thing. I'm not that. It's from the pits of hell, the tar pits of hell. I'm not one of those. Although I do know people who think like that. But I really don't see the attraction of it. It has to be said. So yeah.
Marmite and cheese on toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But is that something you ate as a child?
Yeah, Marmite and everything.
See, yeah, but you've been raised with it. It's something you really like. It's a taste you've acquired as a child. And I think Marmite is not one of those tastes that you acquire later.
Yeah, I don't know. What if you went to Australia and someone gave you like Vegemite broth or something?
Maybe it can be disguised. Right, so what we're going to do is I've brought my needle out. I've got a double thread in there as well. Nice long thread.
Are we close-upping?
We can do, yeah.
Go on then.
So,
turning.
So what I've done is I've brought my needle out, my thread out, in the corner. So I've just brought it out in the very corner of lifting up here. And then what I want to do is I've got my other piece of, I'm just moving really slowly. Piece. So I want the inner side of this and the inner side of that to go together. I'm lining up.
Other way.
Hang on, I'm just picking my needle up. Hang on.
Oh, you want everything you do.
No, I want the moon on a stick, on needle and everything. Yep, there you go. Ooh,
stop there. Hold it there. Hold it there. That's a good one.
Beep, beep. So what I'm going to do is I'm lining up the corner of the one that I've just come out on with the centre where the pin is. So I can now take the pin out. Love that that's magnetised.
Oh yeah, just throw it at it.
I did.
Yeah.
Made myself very at home. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch my corner to that side, okay? So I'm just literally over sewing, so you can just go underneath the back stitches to help slip them together. So
Jenny says Marmite on a really good fruitcake is delicious.
See, I really like really strong cheddar cheese on fruitcake with a bit of port.
So you just want to whack a bit of Marmite on there and you're laughing.
I wouldn't be laughing.
Whereas Jenny Totterdale says that the only use she has for Marmite is in the cheese and Marmite biscuits she makes for the dog. You see, I make cheese and Marmite bread and butter pudding. Delicious.
I make chocolate bread and butter pudding.
Okay,
even better.
That trumps that. And Ali said that she used to have spam and pickle sandwiches as children. And spam fritters at school. That just, no, that's
But the
wrong.
thing is, I genuinely think it's that thing where you're tasting the thing that's with it.
No, she can't stand it now.
You know what I mean? Like spam and pickle. You're tasting the pickle, not the spam. The spam's a filler.
Yeah, and 10% of that we don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, mystery item.
Oh. Is that the same as corn? You see, I'm really confused now because she says that spam now goes in the same bracket as Marmite and corned beef.
Does it?
I thought corned beef was like spam. I thought they were like the same thing. Are they not?
Well,
Don't they both come out of a tin?
I'd had corned beef. They both come out of a tin. I'd had corned beef. I'd never had spam. And one of the things that I liked from childhood was corned beef, salad cream, and crisp sandwiches.
Sorry. Say that again.
Salad cream, corned beef, and crisps. But corned beef doesn't always have to come out of a tin though, because you could get it from the deli counter as well, in slices.
Yeah, but that probably came out of a tin before they sliced it, right?
I don't know. It seemed very large to be out of a tin, but I don't know. Maybe. Like a tinned ham. They used to tin everything during the war though, didn't they? It used to be like...
How big is your tin? We'd like to know. We have no
like
point of reference. If you would like to just put a coin by that tin so that we know how big it is,
like a bathtub
that would be
size.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay, so where do you stand on the great twiglet debate then?
I'm not a Twiglet eater.
Oh, I see.
Because they're Marmitey as well, though, aren't they? They're kind of like Bovrily, Marmitey, that kind of...
Yeah, they are Marmitey. I was just trying to see if you were through and through an anti-Marmiter.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's not something I choose to eat.
Well, Ali thought that corned beef had horse in it, so she won't eat it.
Oh, okay.
So I have no idea, and I'm very confused.
Now I'm concerned.
Walthamstow Market years ago used to get spam slices from the butcher stall. Yeah, and she used to, and Claire used to eat them while she was sat in her pushchair.
Right, so what we've got at the moment is you can see I've put that half and this half of the square together.
Yes.
Don't worry about the stitching, just keep them smallish so that it's nice and tight to that line. But because we're going to put a decorative stitch over the top of that afterwards. But you just keep going, and so what you're going to do now is turn the corner here, and so that corner, that half goes with that half.
Oh, nice.
So that's, as I say, once you've started it off, it automatically starts to get a form. You see.
Very nice.
So it's really sweet. It just continues. So it's a bit addictive. This once you start making them.
I think they're lovely, really lovely.
It's just really pleasing when they start to appear.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what I want to know then, Claire, is do you feed spam slices to your kids now, because you used to eat it and presumably like it? Oh yeah, Susan says, trust her. There's very big tins of corned beef.
Oh.
She worked as a cook at a residential care home.
Okay.
Oof.
Like industrial sized.
Industrial sized corned beef for
Like
old
corned beef
people.
hash and stuff. My next door neighbour was a really lovely elderly lady when I was a child, and she was called Hetty, and she used to sometimes give us tongue sandwiches, which I always think is a very wartime thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, let's eat all of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing went to waste.
Nothing goes to
was
waste,
there?
no.
That, and I remember when we were little as well, one of the things my mum used to make was she used to make us. It was really lovely, and it was. They used to say it was hedgehogs. She used to say it was hedgehogs, and it was called hedgehogs, but it's actually made out of minced meat, and it's like minced beef, and you make it with little raisins for the eyes. You make it to a hedgehog shape, and rice for the spikes. So it's like a children's meal. It looks like a hedgehog. So
hang on. How is this coming together exactly? What the rice?
So you make like a meatball basically,
Right.
and
and then roll it in a bit of rice.
You kind of roll it in rice and put two little raisins or something for the eyes, or two peas for the eyes or something. So
you
it
get
looks
you 5 a day in
like
there with your 2 peas.
Yeah, but it looks like a hedgehog, you see, and
that's amazing.
And I remember going to junior school and saying that we'd had hedgehogs for dinner. We were talking about food.
Yeah, that's going to be confusing for a
started
lot of
early.
people.
And I remember people being absolutely shocked because I said I'd had hedgehogs, and they were just like, "What?" And I was trying to explain what this was, and I was like, I thought that they were really weird for thinking this wasn't normal. But yeah, and my mom, bless her, she used to make every year. She used to make the most amazing birthday cakes. So and
were they hedgehog based as well?
No, but it was for my twin brother and I, because you're not going to, that close to Christmas, you're not going to eat your way through 2 birthday cakes plus my mum's birthday cake.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, well,
I see that challenge.
Yeah, I rose to that challenge.
As long as I haven't had to make it, we're all good.
Yeah, but so rather than having to make and ice 2 cakes, she used to, half the cake would be James's hobbies or interests, and half of it would be mine. And she'd beautifully ice it and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I just remember all of these things where she was trying to get James's interests and my interests onto one cake.
Onto a cake.
So if you think about the
amazing.
challenges that, bless her, she's lovely, and top mom. And she just, as I say, you imagine the challenge, like trying to get one person's interest onto a cake.
The option would have been a full cake and then just freeze some.
Yeah. It was the thing that made me laugh was one of my friends had a little lad, and I went to their house and they were making a birthday cake, and I was like, you just be glad. I was like, now I see the trauma of this.
Yeah.
So I was like, you just be glad you don't have to make 2. And my mum, to be fair, even to this day, we're like, it's not a proper birthday if you haven't blown the candles out, and you have to have cake of some kind and a birthday candle, at least one. So it's generally an inferno on the top. So yeah, so my mum had to make birthday cakes probably a lot longer than most people.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, we spent a long time last week discussing the disaster that had been my Christmas cake making efforts.
What happened?
So beautiful ingredients, and I soaked all of the fruit in 3/4 bottle of brandy.
Did you just eat the fruit? Was that what happened? You just picked your way
through it?
That
was part of it. And then obviously then Emily, our babysitter for Emily, she also was dipping into it. So then I had to buy some more cherries. It was the cherries that got it, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was fine. All was good. And then I couldn't get any almonds, so found some in the cupboard, threw them in. They were out of date, they were rancid.
Oh.
Gone through the whole mix, didn't realise until it was cooked.
No.
So my mum, bless her, tells me that she's put a big chunk of her Christmas cake in my Christmas box that she is posting to me. And I just hope that Hermes deliver it well. Yes.
Well, I mean, when one of my aunts got married, she got married to a chap whose family were Jamaican, and so the wedding cake always has overproof rum in it, and so they'd got overproof rum, and my mum, I think my nan made the cake because my nan was a really good cook, so she made the cakes, and then my mum had got the job of icing it. And my nan had been feeding this cake as per the instructions from the soon-to-be in-laws family, feeding the cake for about 3 weeks with overproof. And the fumes off this thing could have stripped the nasal hair. It was
amazing.
Strong. And then my mom was trying to ice it, and she tried several times with marzipan and everything, and the alcohol kept staining through the white icing and staining everything. So it kept like just rising upwards through it, and everything started to look discoloured. And then as she'd take stuff off, it would just come off, a chunk of marzipan and a chunk of icing would come off separate, and she was just like, that's not going to work. So she spoke to, I don't know if you ever saw the London Marathon, there was a chap who used to do it flipping a pancake.
Oh, right, yeah.
He was a friend of my dad's, and he was a chef. And yeah, and so my dad rang.
Who else would you turn to for help?
Rang Dale, the chef, and was chef? Like, bit of a weird question. My wife's making this cake, and this is a problem. He was like, it's fine. Cover it in apricot jam, and then put the marzipan, and then the icing, and it'll be fine because it'll seal it. Just put more on than you normally would. Yeah. So she did that, and it worked. But it was really funny because this cake, it was brilliant. And then at the actual thing when they were cutting it up, I remember helping my mum. It was proper 80s, kind of like late 80s, early 90s family wedding. It was like, I was helping my mum cut the cake up for everybody to take some to the tables. And she was like, right, that's the cake, there's their icing. And it was like, because it was literally, as you cut it, it would just like slide off. It was drunk icing. So it was brilliant.
Would be drunk by the time you'd finished that. Yeah,
exactly. It was brilliant. So you can see that this is really starting to get a form to it already. So I'm just kind of part way through. It just starts to shape up really nicely. So you don't have to do any hard work or anything fancy to make it start to come into that crown shape.
Lovely, isn't it? Really lovely.
Yeah. So, and you just go all the way round like that, and it just appears. So.
What isn't lovely is now that they've moved on the chat, they've now moved on to talk of tripe. You see, there's no need.
Sweetmeats.
Whop. Just no. You'd be really disappointed, wouldn't you, if you were eating sweetmeats thinking that it was going to be
something nice.
You know, like a bit of marzipan and, you know.
Yeah.
Just no. And Claire says, isn't spam short for spiced ham? I don't know. Someone will know.
I don't know. But it was not spicy in any way, shape or form. It had no flavour, literally no flavour.
None. But you could taste the HP sauce because otherwise we'd be COVID testing you left, right, and
Seriously, it was nothing. It was. I was just like, there's no point in having this in there at all. So it makes no sense. So very odd. Anyway.
You see, Ali says that her gran served up pig trotters once. She declined that as well. She said, those born later have no idea the tortures we had to endure.
It was liver for me. My mum and I used to have regular battles over liver.
No.
And I remember sitting at the dinner table because it was like we used to have to ask to leave the dinner table, like ask permission.
Yeah.
And after you'd eaten your dinner. And I remember sitting there for a good 2 hours, you know, like just with a plate full of food, like I can't eat it. Like, so I remember that quite clearly. And my mum used to try and disguise it with sauce.
You can't. It's the texture. Liver and kidney.
Texture, the scent of it. There's nothing about it that redeems
nothing
itself.
good is going to come from that. But the dogs love it.
Yeah. The dogs can have it as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. So you get the idea with this, I think.
I think it's beautiful.
You've got enough there to start to see the curves appearing. Yeah?
Yes.
So, yeah. So with that, you just keep going until you've got about a corner left. And then what you'll do is you'll apply the ribbon. So you've got ribbon in your pack. You just stitch that in as well. So you'll stitch that into one of the points. And then you'll stuff it with the wadding. And then you'll just finish stitching it up. And then there's a decorative stitch that you can choose to put on there or not, as you wish. But yeah, and all the instructions are in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the kits and show you contents.
Yes, good.
And I'm going to put your scissors back so I don't take them with me.
Thanks, because they're good scissors. I like them.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy not stealing your things. It's fine.
I mean, that's why we get on so well.
Yeah.
I don't steal your stuff, you don't steal mine, it's all good.
So we've got a range of 6 skeins in the Leaping Stag. So
Shall we close the up?
Yes.
Lovely.
So we've got
they
3
just
of
work
those,
so beautifully.
in the grey and 3 in the terracotta. So you've got full skeins of those, so 6 in total. Then you've got your linen twill, it's approximately 40 by 40 centimetres.
And so it's all on there.
There
we go, move them around. There we go.
So it's all marked on there for you for the design. And you've got your 2 needles in the corner of your fabric.
Oh, so be careful when you undo it.
So two of your chenille needles. And then you've got your instruction booklet, which has got step-by-steps in there again. So a big full-size picture. Should we go close up or are we?
Yeah.
Right, where am I going?
Round a bit, we're still Hing.
There you go. Big heady
Oh, there he is.
So you've got your overall picture, contents list. You've got your stitch plan, your colour plan. You've got stitch diagrams. And then you've got instructions with photographs close up so you can get better views of what you're doing, etc.
Oh, he is gorgeous.
So
Look at him.
that's that wee chap. And then the Biscornu Pictacular. In this kit, you've got some padding, so your wadding. You've got your design marked up with your 2 needles in the corner as well. So here,
nice.
So that's all fully marked up for you.
Do we get buttons?
Yeah, you get your ribbon, your 2 mother of pearl buttons in there, and then you've got your colourway. You've got your light pink, mid pink, dark pink. You've got light green, mid green, and dark green, and then you've got your yellow. So you've got
spin it around there. Hold it there. There, beautiful.
Lovely. So yeah, so nice colourway there. So that's all in there, and then you also have your instruction booklet. So you've got a good close up. You've got a photo front, back, and sides on the
nice.
On the first page. You've got your contents list, stitch plan, colour plan, stitch diagrams. I'm just going to step further away. If further and further away from the camera here. Where am I going? This way.
That way.
Hurrah!
Hey.
Excellent. And then we've got, again, step-by-steps, so that you've got your idea of what you're working, how you're working it, photographs of each stage, and construction images. Okay?
Nice.
So, yeah. So everything's in there.
Annie says that she'd be tempted to put beads in the hashings of the stag.
Yeah. Absolutely, beads, sequins. You could do that. As say, sequin
Bling
for the
him up,
nose, or
basically.
a little crystal or something for the nose. Bling him up.
Oh.
Absolutely, lovely. And then the same thing actually for the biscornu. If you wanted to decorate the edge with beads, you could do that too. So
that would be lovely too.
I've decorated with scroll stitch in the red, but you just want to that join should be reasonably neat anyway. But if you want to just tidy it up or fancy it up a little bit. Then I've given it a textured stitch, so the scroll stitch, whereas you could very happily put little beads on there, so it'd be lovely.
Well, that is absolutely perfect.
So yeah, so that's your lot.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And where are you for Christmas this year? Are you just
am
at home with
home
magic?
for Christmas, yes. So so spending time with my partner and my stepson. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but I hope everybody has a fab
enjoy.
Christmas. Very happy festive time. So wherever they are.
Gonna be a different one this year.
It's going to be entirely different. We'll all stay up at New Year to make sure, rather than the New Year coming in, we'll see the old year out.
Yeah, right, with a quick kick and a shove.
Yeah, out it goes. But you know what? We've all learnt a lot. So it's been weird, but
I think if you look at it, there's lots of good that can come from it.
You know what? We've been forced into different ways of doing stuff, and there's not always a bad thing about that, is there? So it's just the way you see it, isn't it? I know there's been a lot of loss and a lot of illness, and that's terrible. There's no way you can dress that up as good, but you know, some of the things, if that's not touched your life in that sense, and all you've had to do is change your buying habits and be on your own for a while, it makes you value what you've got.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Just
yeah.
Makes you value the important things.
And also, I think, you know, those people that manage to go on holiday maybe manage to go to this country rather than, you know, maybe people have discovered other parts of this country that they might not have done.
We've got an amazing country, and I think there's so much history, there's so much to see, there's so much heritage here, and it's such variety.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that puts people off is the weather, you know. And it's that thing. There's no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing.
You are
that's
right.
My dad's saying that is.
You are right.
He was from the Highlands and he really knew about bad weather and inappropriate clothing. So
well, that's why they made tweed.
Absolutely.
There we go.
So you could climb a mountain in your good wool goods.
Get your tweed on and off you go.
Get your tweed on.
That's what I'll be
that
sending
should be on
Freddie
the back
to
of a
forest school.
jacket.
Yes.
Get your tweed on.
I mean, you could embroider that. I'd like to see that. Helen, as ever, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's been a lovely morning.
Blast.
Thank you very, very much. And we will see. Hang on now. What date did we put? Was it the 12th of January?
Let me just check.
It's like a month away, basically.
Yeah, I think it is.
Give or take a day.
Let me get the diary. It's
it's filling up next year.
12th, Tuesday the 12th.
Nice.
See ya.
Yeah.
See you on the 12th.
Yeah. Oh, right, everybody.
Fun and japes.
You know, we try. Oh, it's all good fun. And I'm just impressed that the two cats in the same room didn't have a massive fight, which, you know.
I mean, that's good.
It's all good.
I liked the fact that HP sat and stared at the door for quite some time, like literally like willing it to open.
No, she's sulking down here now. She did come round and just smack Theo around the face and walk off. So, you know, that's what's going on off screen. But there we go. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow with Jane, who is doing a Disappearing 9 patch, I believe.
Ooh. Sounds interesting.
I might be right, I might be wrong.
Is that
anyway,
disappearing line patch or disappearing eye patch?
I don't know if I've got it wrong. It might be me needing an eye
magical
patch.
pirate.
I would like that as a theme for a quilt. Thank you.
I'll design you some fabric. That's
amazing.
Fine.
I would
Didn't
like.
train as a printer for nothing, you know.
No. Right, we are having that conversation. Right. Okay. At some point, we will be bringing you a disappearing eye patch, courtesy of Helen McCook. This is perfect. Excellent. Will you give us all a big Christmas wave, please?
Yeah,
Lovely.
Merry Christmas. Have a lovely time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.